We got to the train station about 8 o'clock in the morning. So we got to the,
How long did it take you guys to get to the memorial?
memorial.
Monument. Where were you guys at?
Well, first we had to get on the train,
How you?
and the train, at the train station, there was a few thousand people out there with like a horseshoe line that was incredible. It took us like an hour just to get on the train that morning. And then, once you got an hour.
Cold.
It was cold. It was real cold. Put it this way, I had a little video camera, and I happened to have it outside of my jacket, just hanging around my neck. And when I went to go use it, the camera was like, "Nah, son." It actually said it was too cold. I had to like let it warm up before it could actually, operate. It was cold outside. We went and the train ride was like it should have actually taken about 20 minutes to get to DC from where we were, but it took an hour. The train kept stopping and we were stuck on the ground, and it was incredible, man. There were so many people. They really weren't really prepared for the amount of people that they actually had to deal with out there.
I mean, everything I heard, all the commentators on the network, I had like 4 VCRs going at the same time. I was recording CNN, MSNBC, NBC, and ABC.
Okay.
So everybody was saying like 1.5 million, right?
Nah.
I said like, there's no way, because I mean, from the state capitol, there was nothing but bodies all the way to the Lincoln Memorial. Man, that's 2 miles.
Right.
It had to be closer to 2 million people.
Well, they was
I would start at 2 million and then go down.
Nah, then you should go up because they were probably only counting the people that were in the mall area in the first place.
Right.
There was hundreds of thousands of people that were on the street that couldn't even get. They couldn't even get in.
You know, the other thing we saw too from the television stuff, all the buildings, if people had access to buildings, hotels or whatever, they were all on terraces, on the roofs, at the windows. I mean, I didn't see anybody with a counter checking on any of those people.
I don't know how they would be able to estimate that. There was people in trees. There was this one little Chris. They had this one little area that we went into. There was like a big circle of porta potties, and there were people. Like people would take their kids and stick them up on top of these porta potties.
Right.
You know, it had to be like a good 60, 70 porta potties with people all sitting on top of them. One of them caved in.
Wow. Now, you guys know they stopped estimating crowds on the mall in D.C. after the Million Man March when they tried to claim there was only 500,000 brothers that showed up to that.
Right.
So ever since then, they don't do estimates anymore.
I don't know what they're using. If they were using some sort of square foot measurement, how many people could fit within a certain type of, it's wrong.
They said they were using satellite imagery. Guesstimation.
Okay.
Yeah. How many people were there?
Well, the cops actually do this grid. They do a grid that they create, and they figure out how many people can fit in the grid.
Right, but that's what I was going to say. That's the normal space conditions. You know, like he and I are spaced, the comfortable distance from one another.
Right.
All that is violated.
That's what I do.
You know, it's just like you was married to everybody that was there, and you were extra close.
You know, the one thing I couldn't get at home, and I don't know. I mean, Raul was there too with you, right?
Yeah.
Raul was, I couldn't hear like the crowd when he walked out. You know, when he came through the stage and walked out, and the crowd could see him. I couldn't hear how loud the crowd was. How loud was it?
They were going crazy. They were going crazy out there. Definitely.
Well, we couldn't see him, so that was the only reason why we knew he was there.
Right. 5 seconds later.
Yeah. Right. You hear that like wave of.
Right.
It was nuts.
That's wild. Yo. I mean, because some of the commentators would say the one thing we can't do is explain to you people the reaction of the crowd. Like we couldn't hear people yelling Obama. We couldn't hear people saying yes we can. We couldn't hear, because TV is only going to give you, but even 5.1 is only going to give you but so much.
We're making about Bush either, didn't
No, and I couldn't hear when they were singing, nah, 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 hey, goodbye. I couldn't hear that when the helicopter was taking off. Yeah.
Nah, 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 nah. Yeah, people was waving.
Yeah.
And they weren't like waving like we miss you wave. It was like more like a be out.
They had a couple of salutes.
The thing I didn't like was when Obama was saying something that really was a valid point. I couldn't get it from the TV, like how the crowd reacted to it.
Yeah,
right. Like the way I reacted was like, wow, that was a great point. Now did the crowd react the same way? Because I was clapping while I was watching TV. So I couldn't get was the crowd clapping when he made certain points. Yeah.
What is it, man? There was a strange thing that happened when you got 1.5 million or maybe 2 million people out there. For the most part, once he began speaking, you couldn't hear anything but him.
Right.
And I didn't know it was possible for 2 million people to be quiet.
Right. Yeah.
There was that focus on what he was saying that there was times you wanted to clap, amen, and all of that, but you just was like, nah, let me hear the next thing he's gonna say.
Because he's that powerful, man.
But they said that when he started to speak, the crowd got quiet.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Because they were cheering once he did the swearing in.
Right.
And then they said the crowd got quiet.
Right.
So they could hear, so everyone could listen intently to what he was saying.
Right.
And
absolutely
and
quiet.
See, people, we're jaded, and I don't want to say we, but I think the public is jaded right now. We're waiting for the next, Democratic National Convention speech in 2004, We're waiting for the next race speech that he did in February, We're waiting for that next great speech like he did in Iowa when he won in the primary. And the thing was that everybody's expectation was so freaking high, he was never going to meet it. He was never really going to meet it because the venue was it was too big, man.
Yeah, I wasn't disappointed.
I wasn't disappointed.
I thought it was a great speech.
If everybody should sit down and read the speech, you got to read it and you got to see what he put out there for people. You got to read it firsthand. I'd make my kids read it if I had to, because they need to know what he's expecting out of people in the next 4 years, and hopefully the next 8.
Well, that's one of the things that separates him from a lot of leaders that we've had in the presidency, because he's not just the guy that is running the country and is supposed to be the most powerful guy in the world, and he's leading the country, but he's a motivator. He's an inspirational. If he said, all right, I need all of y'all, after you leave here, go get some guns. We gotta go to war. People would have start grabbing weapons.
Didn't say how many.
Exactly. Who you need us to shoot.
Right.
That's
I got
the type
guns
of
left in my closet.
I left mine at home, and I'll go get it if you need me to. It was he has that type of influence and charisma that. It's rare that you see it in someone like him. And he listens.
When they made the flub on the oath, were you guys able to tell that they made a mistake?
No.
You weren't able to tell, right? You know what? I didn't catch it the first time either, but when I watched it again on the news, I was like, wow, they did mess up on the oath.
No.
I didn't catch it. I missed
it. We can see it right away.
Yeah. But you guys in the crowd weren't able to catch on to that.
It's like he stopped and it's like, okay, dummy, let's try it again. It's like, Barack was, man. Here's the deal, guys. He was a lawyer at the University of Chicago. Okay? He was the man. He knows about oaths and things because he had to take them before, and he knows other people that had to take them. Right. So, and he's rehearsed this. He's gone over it with his people and everything. So when Robert screwed up, he looked at him, he started, and he said, no, you got to start it, you got to try it again. And Robert tried it and still screwed it up. That's why they took the oath again later that evening. But what people are still, what conservatives are coming at him now. This guy, not Sean Hannity, this guy Beck that's on Fox now. He's saying that he's going to be the first president that was never sworn in on the Bible. Because the second time he did it, they didn't have a Bible.
He's an idiot.
It's always something. It's always something little that they pick at, and then they make it big. The media makes it big. You're gonna hear about that sooner or later. That's what the media.
I think, personally, I think they had enough. They had 8 years to pick on big things that they didn't pick on.
Right.
You want to pick on something, that was the guy you should have been picking on.
But you gotta know the media too. Media find anything negative about somebody important as Barack Obama.
Right.
And they'll exploit that.
Right.
You know, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting that because they brought up the point that neither Obama or Biden voted for the Chief Justice.
That's right. That's right.
When, for his confirmation.
That's right.
And so when I heard that flub, I kind of thought for a second, he's doing this on purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
The thing is,
I don't
Obama
want to give him that
was so
credit.
proud.
Right. Really.
He didn't say, you want to start again. He just like said, okay, you messed up, let me just stop. And he let him do it again, and he just followed his lead. You know, even though he knew it was wrong, he said, you know, I'm not going to embarrass this guy.
Right.
I'm just going to go with it. And, you know,
Classy, he's a classy dude.
he's very classy, dude. Presidential, man.
You kind of remind me of myself.
Real classy brother.
Here's an example of a class act. Is that when I looked up and saw, when I realized that Al Sharpton was on that stage, I was tight.
I didn't see him. He was up there.
Yeah, he was up there. I was
Sarah
tight.
Palin,
You was playing hide and seek.
I was wondering that.
I was somewhere. I don't see him.
I kind of took a little bit of offense to the fact that Al was up there. People were like, well, you know, he doesn't take it personal, whatever.
It's no worse than Jesse Jackson being up there.
Was Jesse up there?
Very true.
Jesse was up
Yeah, Jesse was up there.
He been crying.
Yeah, Jesse messed up.
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
Oh no, I didn't
I mean,
forget.
Al ain't never said that about him.
Nah.
You know?
I
But
think
Jesse-
Jesse should have been back there where we was at.
But Jesse, when he won,
Yes.
Jesse was in Chicago,
Yes.
standing in the crowd,
Yes.
crying.
Yeah.
I think he had a reason to cry. Well, he had two
was
reasons to
crying
cry.
for though.
He had one because it was
Couple
that
reasons.
important for
Uh-huh.
what did happen, and two, he should have been embarrassed.
Yep.
He should have been absolutely
Maybe he
embarrassed.
was.
He was working on his Oscar nomination, man.
But at this stage, whatever they said in the beginning, because there was a lot of people that told Barack, don't even run.
Yeah.
It's not your time.
Yeah.
You know?
But see that?
What time is it?
They thought it was
This is the
Hillary's
thing
time.
that's going on.
They did.
I mean, all the folks that are now like, you know, folks at parents' age, you know, maybe the 70s and 80s, they're all folks that grew up in the civil rights movement, man. And so they were there when Jesse was running in 84 and 88, and they were there with the SCLC, you know, and the Panthers and the Young Lords and whomever was going down then. But now, you know, that's the civil rights folks. It's old. It's passé now. You know, all their kids have had a chance to go to college.
Okay.
They've had a chance to go to great colleges. I mean, Barack and Michelle, one went to Columbia and Harvard, the other one went to Princeton and Harvard. You know, Deval Patrick in Massachusetts is governor. You know, I mean, brother down in Alabama, Arthur Davis, who's a representative from Alabama, he went to Harvard Law with Barack Obama. Adrian Fenty, Washington, D.C. Mayor, Cory Booker. I mean, this is a new political blacks coming up now. And they're not, you know, they didn't get accepted into the Black Caucus right away either, you know, because they're all young. Everybody said, oh, y'all too young, wait your time. Yeah, it's not about waiting their time, man. You know, it's like, wait for it until you finally get elected president. That ain't gonna happen.
Right.
That ain't gonna happen.
And I think the time of having people who are in some sort of leadership, whether it be in a community or in politics, and actually not doing things that are beneficial to the community and self-serving is over.
Right.
You know, sometimes I question dudes like Al and Jesse. First of all, because the media acts like these are the only two people that can actually speak for the community. You know.
That has been the problem.
And then secondly, they always seem to find a cause to champion that's really not worth.
Right.
It's not really worth
I
championing.
mean, it's like this, you know, like everybody talks about, you know, like somebody that was in the law that ain't making a lot of money. You know, they call them ambulance chasers, you know. Well, they were like civil rights chasers, you know. Any civil rights violation, I mean, these guys are chasing after it and trying to make an issue out of it.
Right.
And that's the politics that the average white folks in America didn't want to hear about anymore.
Right.
They didn't want to hear about anybody being angry, you know, because, you know, the way this works, man, it's like they'll accept you if you come up with a legitimate reason why your cause is the right cause. You know? But you know, politicians today, Barack Obama, it's not like his cause is the only cause we have to look at. His cause is my cause.
Right.
You know, your cause is my cause. Everybody's intertwined. You know, it's globalization economically, but it's globalization socially too. All of us, all of our causes are together. And if we don't try to help each other get out of it, we're going to suffer through the same problems we've been suffering through the last couple hundred years. So.